So you ask yourself, what's working well? What products? What are my best sellers? What's 80% of my revenue coming from 20% of my products? And then you're going to take that and that's what you're going to put out in front of new customers. That's when you're going to get onto new sales channels. That's where you're going to test social media or emails or text messages. And that's what you're going to push. We want you to diversify your visibility channels after dialing in your best sellers. And like we said, diversify your sales channels after diversifying your best sellers. Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping product-based business owners turn into revenue-generating, successful, happy product bosses. I'm Jacqueline Snyder.
And I'm Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Together through digital courses, coaching, and masterminds, we've helped over 50,000 students from startup to multi-million-dollar businesses scale their sales while blending in their dream life.
It gets lonely out there in the product business world. We fully believe a business shouldn't be built alone. There's room at the top for all of us.
So let's get scrappy and creative together, Product Boss, to be profitable, make more sales, and grow your visibility.
Are you ready? Let's dive in.
Hey friends, it's podcast recommendation time. This month, we've been obsessed with listening to the Being Boss podcast, hosted by the incredible Emily Thompson.
Yeah, Emily does an amazing job talking about what it takes to be boss as a creative business owner, freelancer, and side hustler. She explores the mindsets, habits, and tactics of using creative ambitions to start and grow your business so that you can take control of your work and live life on your own terms.
So inspiring. One of my favorite episodes of hers is Systems and Strategies for Business Growth, where Emily shares kind of a peek behind the scenes at the growth of her product and retail business, Almanac Supply Co., which you know that another thing we've been obsessed with lately is crystals and business building around the universe.
We're very woo now.
Woo-ish, I would say.
Woo-ish. So this is one of the reasons we love Emily, because we love how open she was about how her team uses marketing tactics to continue innovating and finding purpose to further the growth of the company. And it helps bridge that online and in-person shopping experience, something we always tell our community to do.
Listen to Being Boss wherever you get your podcasts.
Pop quiz hotshot. Which type of product boss are you?
Pop quiz hotshot. What movie is this from?
You should hear the words we came up with when we forgot that the word was hotshot.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? By the way, it's from Speed, with my favorite couple of all time movie on the screen, which is Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. And it will show for everybody. And Anthony Hopkins was on there too, wasn't he?
He's the one I think who said pop quiz hotshot.
Yeah, for sure. And so if you all knew what movie we were referencing, that just means you're the same age as us.
Welcome to your 40s and above.
It's true. It's true. So, pop quiz hotshot, what age generation of product boss are you?
But really, though, that's not the quiz.
Yeah,
the quiz
that really is
today is we're going to go over 3 types of product bosses that we work with and that fit into our signature program, Multi-Stream Machine, really well. And these are the kinds of students that we see fit in really well. Now, there are other students outside of this realm that also are excellent for this program, but we're going to focus on these 3, and we want you to identify which one sounds like you.
Yeah, these are the 3 that get the best results in Multi-Stream Machine. I shouldn't say the best because I think everybody gets results, but I think that these are 3 main buckets that you may be a part of that could be really helpful if you're a student of ours. So,
okay.
And it will help you kind of get you in the right direction.
So we have 3 of them, and we're going to start out with our friend starting out, Sonia. So starting out, Sonia is a product boss that is just starting out and is struggling with the confusion of how and where to start. So Sonia doesn't know what to do, and you don't know what you don't know, right? Especially when you're just starting out. And starting out, Sonia is uncertain about what the next step is or what the future should look like. So, my friend, if you're listening, are you a starting out Sonia?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting out Sonia's for sure. So let us know on Instagram or whatever at the product boss if you're starting out Sonia. If you're just starting out, we do get a lot of people that are starting out Sonia's. Maybe that's you because and actually it's really a great benefit to them because they can kind of look into the future a little bit, right? They don't know what they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And you're able to kind of I don't know, like, know what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
Like, you
I
have
think
a clarity around it.
the benefit to starting out and then starting to get clarity or starting to have like a path forward or a plan is that you're not making costly mistakes that a lot of us have made when we're figuring it out all on our own and like a couple years into business or 5 years into business or a decade in business and you're like, if I only knew this when I started. So
Yeah.
starting out Sonia is starting and especially in today's world with access to podcasts and online challenges and boot camps and coaches and programs and all of this amazing stuff. When Mina and I started out as product bosses and we were starting out Sonia, we did not have access to the
Oh,
wealth of knowledge that
here's the
exists.
thing though, and I want to like a cautionary tale for all of you, okay? So a lot of times the reason why people make costly mistakes is because they're doing overconsumption of that free material. So for example, they're like, "Oh, I'll just go to Google University or YouTube Academy, how whatever people say, and I'll duct tape this thing together." And they overconsume. So meaning that they're listening to tons of different podcasts, tons of YouTube channels, tons of different coaches, this Etsy coach, that Amazon coach, whatever it is. And they end up they don't know what to focus on. So it's an overwhelm of overconsumption. And so when you're starting out, it's a sliding scale of how much intake you're doing. So this is why we have students that come into multi-stream machine and they have this sense of relief because they're like, finally, people are telling me how exactly step by step to do this instead of I'm getting all this free stuff where people are telling me what I need to do, but actually not how to do it. And that can be really hard, especially if you're like trying to Google your way through it. And I think I forget who it was that said that it feels like you're chasing your tail when you do
Mhm.
that, you know?
Yeah. And I'm a startup expert. And I got to tell you, because I've launched over 1,000 fashion brands, like apparel and accessory brands, is when people come out and they have their big idea of what they want to do. My question is to them, how are people going to find you? How are you going to get customers? And how are you going to sell? Right? Like, how are you going to sell? And a lot of times they're like, well, I will just show up on Instagram or I'll just build a website and they will come. And that's not the truth. Right. So, if you can't afford an expert like me as your one on one coach, which can cost $10,000 or more a month, for example, the question to you, my friend, if you are starting out, Sonia, is what are you going to do? What are the next steps? Where do you start? And what are the steps to take? And having someone be able to forecast for you or tell you, like, these are the next steps and this is what the future should look like. And we do help this inside of our program. We're going to go a little bit deeper. But what I want to go to is the next person. So does this sound like you? And Mina, do you want to say this one?
Yeah, this one is, I think, all of us at some point in our journey, right? And this one is All the Hats Amy. So, All the Hats Amy is a product boss who is wearing all the hats and doing all the things by herself and is struggling to scale because you're on a perpetual hamster wheel. How many of you feel like that, right? You're overwhelmed and not sure what to focus on. So, a lot of times, because as moms, I think, or maybe this is a big generalization, we're used to doing a lot of things for everybody all the time. And so, which is why we are all the hats Amy, because we're like, I'm this hat, I'm that hat, I'm doing this thing, I'm doing that thing. And we get into this mode where we think that we need to do more. We almost drown ourselves in it. When what we're teaching you is, okay, in multi-stream machine, we teach you what to focus on so you can be doing less ultimately and for you to get off of that hamster wheel. So that really is our goal for you is that you take yourself off that perpetual hamster wheel and that you're able to work in your business or on your business instead of just in your business. In your business is when you're like doing all the things, making all the things, perhaps, really the doer. And then when you're working on your business, that's when you're working on it on a strategic level, really being the boss of your business. And that is how we help our all the hats Amy's in our program.
Yeah. And then the last person that you might be, so let us know if this sounds like you, is Eggs in One Basket Eva. So Eggs in One Basket Eva, because Eggs in One Basket Eva is a product boss who is selling well, but feels stuck on only one sales platform, right? And only one way of selling. And you may have a deep desire to lessen your risk as a small business owner by growing outside of your one basket, right? Like not having all your eggs in the Etsy basket or Instagram basket or in person basket or even wholesale basket, right? But you're just unsure of how to do that. How do I spread my eggs out? Like stick with the eggs as I say it.
How do I spread my eggs? Okay. Yes. But right now,
How do I go like the Easter bunny?
I think for all of you that are potentially like, yeah, that sounds like me. I am making sales. This is probably what you are if you're eggs in one basket, but eggs in one basket, Eva. And that is probably like you're working really hard, but you're not strategically becoming referable, which in our program, we really want you to be referable. Otherwise, if you don't become referable, you're going to run yourself ragged. You're running ragged trying to get new potential buyers all the time. Right. And you don't need to be doing that. And then also, you're probably spending more time on your business with no end in sight. You're adding more and more and more with, which is what people do in a short term, like for cash injection versus long term business building. So we want to get you out of that eggs in one basket stuck place that you are. And really leverage on what you've done so far, the hard work that you've already done. You've earned that right to be really, now that I've done all these things in this one basket, what can I do outside of that basket? How can I spread my eggs? Right.
These eggs are getting spread into lots of baskets. Okay, so if you've ever heard this quote, and we love this quote, it's by Abraham Lincoln, and it's "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first four sharpening the axe." Right. So give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first four sharpening the axe. So here's the deal, right? You all need the tool. You all need to spend time sharpening your axe and more time on that than the actual doing of cutting down the tree. And the question to all of you is like, do you know what to do next? So I think what we want to do now is once you've identified who you are, whether you're starting out Sonia, all the hats Amy, or Eggs in One Basket Eva, we want to just get into a little bit of some of the plans that you could think about. So where you are now and where you want to be as a product boss, and perhaps a 3-step money making plan for them, Mina?
Yeah, sure. Let's give them a little bit of, where we're taking our students from now and where they want to be, where they could be, what they could do.
Yeah. So a lot of if you are starting out Sonia, right now you might be unsure of your best sellers. You might be confused about how to price your products. You're probably making costly mistakes in the process of trying to learn everything, like Mina said, if you're part of Google University. And you've got that like spaghetti at the wall mentality. So you're kind of like, okay, I'm just going to make all the things and throw them out there and hopefully capture everybody. And somebody other is going to buy from me if I make it all. Right. Which is really not the way that we recommend you do it. And so how we teach our students and what we teach, and this is where we want you to go, this is where we want you to be, is we want you to give yourself a path for testing your bestsellers, right? Like where is the first place you're going, if you're just starting out, that you're going to figure out like either bestsellers or what you want to be known for. So we're going to hone in, and then we're going to see if we could sell those. And we want you to be proactive in pricing correctly. Like from the beginning, we're pricing your products correctly so you grow and you're profitable. And we want you to have a plan to look ahead, right? So hit goals that you have and have a plan to look ahead so you're not hitting those pitfalls, because pitfalls are going to drain your bank account and are going to take away time. And we want to help you and energy. And we want to help you set yourself up for success.
Yeah, for sure. I love that because that's exactly what we teach our students. And when you're starting out, Sonia, just imagine if you didn't do those things and you started off as a non-profitable, like if you were not profitable, that would be really a drag, right? That would be a drag. Okay.
So we have this like 3-step money making plan for starting out Sonia. And this is called the test and try plan. So what are the 3 things that they would do, Mina?
So for starting out, Sonia, you need to first and foremost price correctly. Don't price according to your competition and have it be a race to the bottom. We talked about this in a recent podcast episode where we talked about Etsy sellers because this is the mentality of that, right? We want to keep the most money we can in your pockets, and that is the number one thing is pricing. Next is that test and try we were talking about, where you test and try. This is the second part of your three-step money making plan is that you test what could be your best sellers. In the actual program, we talk to you about how to not overthink it. Is it a specific category, maybe the biggest market need? What product testing are you doing that could be potentially what you want to be known for? And then, as you know, we always tell you it's a matter of feedback. When you're testing and trying, it's not success or failure, it's feedback, 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 meaning that you, right now, when you're testing and trying, it has to do with what are they gravitating towards? What are their stories that they're telling you? What are their reasons for buying? Who are the people that are buying? How much is their average that they're buying from you? That sort of thing. And then last but not least, on that third three-step money making plan is that you hone in when you get the feedback. And this might be hard for some people because, like I said, you need to take that positive and negative feedback. And that will tell you a lot because you're going to be auditing and reviewing your sales to gauge your best sellers. You're going to take what you test and tried and really let the sales of those, potential best sellers that you tested and tried guide you in your next steps. And what would your next steps be? Well, that would guide you in the inventory that you have on the shelves, the inventory that you're making, the photos that you're having taken and maybe showcased on your website, and also the selling channels that you have options for. Keeping customers happy is a top priority in business. We all know that. Customer retention is key, especially in today's world where people are being sold products everywhere they look. Having loyal customers that trust you and your business is a must.
Absolutely. And you can't have loyal customers without a strong team. Even if your team is only you and your team, or you and yourself, are the foundation of your business. And you know what they say, a business without a strong foundation will crumble.
That's why so many businesses use HubSpot as their CRM choice. HubSpot helps your team stay connected so they can focus on a more personalized customer experience because keeping your customers happy is necessary if you want your business to grow.
HubSpot makes sure you and your whole team have access to the same data so all of you know what's going on 100% of the time. It also helps you automate tedious tasks, keep track of contact info, and keep track of all of your sales all in one place.
Remember, when you take care of your customers to the best of your ability, you're building customer retention and loyalty, which is one of your biggest goals as a product-based business owner.
Get started for free at HubSpot.com. Hey, Product Boss. We all know that building a product-based business isn't easy, is it? But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be so hard.
In fact, when you have the right systems and support in place, you can skyrocket your sales and finally create the product business that fits your life and lifestyle. That's why we're so excited to announce that Multi-Stream Machine is officially open for enrollment for a limited time.
We've taken our 20 years of experience in building product-based businesses, including our own, which have generated millions, and created a completely turnkey system to help you scale your business and create the revenue you've dreamed of.
If you're a product-based business owner who's ready to build a sustainable and thriving business that can support itself and pay you the salary you dream of,
or get more customers to easily find you and buy from you without spinning your wheels while stuck on social media and spending money on paid ads.
Have a clear roadmap that shows you exactly how to create a plan and sell more so you can stop guessing and start knowing.
Then you're going to want to head to multistreammachine.com and check it out.
You can go through the course at your own pace. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, and our thousands of alumni can tell you there's no other course for product-based businesses like it.
So friends, we'll see you in there.
Hi, I'm Ashley Powell. I am the owner of Around Ashley's Table Candle Shop, and I make hand-poured candles and wax melts. And I have been listening to the Product Boss podcast for a really long time, probably 2 or 3 years, and just jumped into Multi-Stream Machine back 3 months ago in September of 2020. And I am so excited to share that I have already seen from last year of 2021, Q4 of 2021, and Q4 of 2022, I have seen 138% growth in my revenue, which has just blown me away. And all of that is thanks to implementing everything that I've learned in MSM.
And so our goal for all of our students, especially those of you who join us inside of Multi-Stream Machine, is to add an additional $2,000 a month at least to your revenue. Okay, an additional $2,000 a month at least. Now, we've seen people do this within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
3 days sometimes.
3 days. We've seen it happen, but let's give ourselves a reasonable amount of time. So let's just test this and set your goal for $2,000 a month. That's what we want to do. And we want you to work backwards. Now we're going to teach you the how inside of the program, but this is where we want you to think about. So remember, if you are starting out Sonia, your 3-step money-making plan is going to be your pricing, test and try, and hone in using feedback. You're going to work on this as sharpening your axe, right? Before you take that first swipe at the tree, you're going to sharpen your axe. And then we want you to think about this as your money-making plan. All right. So the next person we're going to jump into for sharpening their axe is All the Hats Amy.
Right. And what we hear mostly from All the Hats Amy is, I'm burning myself out trying all the things I don't even know what to focus on. Right. And that makes sense because right now you are probably confusing your customer with overwhelm. You're making or doing all the things, or you're feeling drowned by the idea of doing more. And what we teach our students in Multi-Stream Machine, and this is where you want to be, okay, is we want you to focus on products that are profitable using our 80-20 bestseller formula. This is not yet the 3-step plan that we're giving you. I'm just trying to tell you where your life could be so you can picture it for yourself, okay? You're able to get off that hamster wheel and you're able to start working on your business instead of in your business. And Jacqueline, what's that 3-step money-making plan for All the Hats Amy? Well, first, what is it called?
It's called the Dial It In to Win plan. All right. You're going to dial it in to win. So your first step is don't try to do all of the things at once. Now, we know you can do everything. You just can't do it all at once. Now, this is something to live by. A confused customer never buys, right? Or a confused customer won't buy. Because if they're confused, they don't know what to do. They don't know the next step to take. So we want you to focus on, don't try to do all the things at once. We don't want you to confuse your customer. And if you could focus on the 80-20 in your business, on your bestsellers, even if you just get a few sales, it's going to start to give you a direction. Then step number 2 is optimize your main platform. So start getting better on your main sales channel, your main platform, and use your bestsellers to do that. We want you to optimize where you're currently selling. We're not asking you to add in a new platform yet, a new sales channel. We just want you to get better at where you're currently selling and what's already working for you.
Yeah, I that's one of my favorite ones. I want to say this because especially for All the Hats Amy, who's trying to do all the things and all the things at once, you just need to get better at your platforms that you're already on.
Mm-hmm. And step number 3 is dial in to diversify. So what we want you to do is we want you to dial it in and then you take what works and then that's what you're going to put on other platforms. So you ask yourself, what's working well? What products? What are my best sellers? What's 80% of my revenue coming from 20% of my products? And then you're going to take that and that's what you're going to put out in front of new customers. That's when you're going to get onto new sales channels. That's where you're going to test social media or emails or text messages. And that's what you're going to push. We want you to diversify your visibility channels after dialing in your bestsellers. And like we said, diversify your sales channels after diversifying your bestsellers. So the recap to your 3-step money-making plan is dial in everything around your bestsellers, optimize your main platform, and diversify with what you've already dialed in.
Yes, love that. And then for all of you that are All the Hats Amy, set a goal for yourself as well. Like we talked about for, for starting out Sonia, is it $2,000 more every month? Is it $4,000? What is it? And then also, I wanted to mention that there might be some intangible goals. So for example, it might be, I want to take my kids to a vacation next summer, or I want to um
Work less hours.
work less hours, buy I don't know,
Boat.
a boat or something. It's like, what would be a really big one, right? And so that would be a different one. And then, I
That's
do
not
say,
intangible, I guess. But I think like
yeah.
it's the hours back in your day, spending more time with your kids, sleeping in on weekends. What
Mhm.
is it? What are those intangible goals? And when Mina was saying that set your goal, it might be that you want to 2x your revenue, 3x your revenue, 4x your revenue. That's what we've seen our multi-stream machine students do. So while our starting at Sonia, we might be trying to add $2,000 in revenue, which we know all the hats Amy can do the same. Some of you out there might be like, well, I'm already making 2,000 or I'm already making 4,000. Well, let's see if we can double that in that same amount of time, whether it's the next 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days.
Yeah. Okay, love it. So next one is eggs in one basket, Eva, right? Sharpening eggs, sharpening your axe, right? And a lot of times what eggs in one basket Eva says to us is that all my sales are on one platform. I feel stuck. What if something happens?
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
dun.
It's more like dun, dun, dun,
We've,
not dun, dun, dun.
we've worked
That sounds
together for a pretty long time.
exciting.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Okay. So here's what eggs in one basket, Eva. So where are you now? Right now, you might be working hard, but not strategically, right? Maybe you're not being referred out. Maybe you've been doing this for a really long time, and you're working really hard and you're like exhausted by this. You might be running ragged, trying to get new potential buyers all the time and spending more time on your business with no end in sight, right? You're not hitting those results that you were hoping to hit. Now, this might be where you want to be, and this is exactly what we teach our multi-stream machine students. We teach them how to prioritize their products so that they're profitable and positioning yourself in the market, right? We want you to be known in the market. Also, creating a loyal fan base that will buy from you time and time again. You're not always going to be looking to get new customers, but rather customers are going to come back and buy from you again. And you want to be able to grow and streamline your business to work for you, right? You don't work for this business. This business works for you. And this business makes you money. And you're not stuck in it all the time doing all the things.
Right. And then 3-step money making plan for eggs in one basket, Eva, is called Prioritize to Thrive Plan. Okay. So step 1 for that is prioritization makes it all work together easier. So knowing that. So you want to prioritize your top 20%, your best sellers. Again, we keep coming back to this because sometimes when it's all in one basket, Eva, they might have lots of SKUs. And then people are like, but does that mean I have to eliminate some? And that may be the case, but remember when we're saying 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your products, focus on that top 20%, okay? 20% of whatever the number is of SKUs. Because the thing is, if you imagine a money-making machine, imagine a big cogwheel, and there's all these other cogwheels that are turning as well. Well, the big wheel is your 20%, right? That is what really moves the machine. Because when you start to see a big cogwheel move, then it starts to move the other ones with less effort because you're already moving that big one. I hope that visualization makes sense for all of you. Next, you want to prioritize your existing customers, right? And so when you prioritize your existing customers, you're really thinking about elevating customer service in a lot of ways, but also getting them to buy from you again and again. You're getting those rebuys perhaps via email. You're building that loyal fan base, and they're really coming to you because you're referable and you're being known. And then you're also getting more reviews. So you have that established social proof that can be so helpful in getting more sales over and over. And then last part of that is you actually need to prioritize diversification. A lot of times for eggs in one basket, Eva, we talk about diversification of visibility channels and diversification of sales channels. They understand that, but they are so busy that they think that there's time for that. And the thing is, now is the time, and you actually need to diversify that specific strategy. The diversification happens now, because if not now, then when, right? When are you going to get online? When are you going to be in person, let's say? When are you going to sell wholesale, or when are you going to get onto Amazon? I don't know what the diversification looks like for you specifically. But in the time of right now, with us having access to so many things and the consumer being at our fingertips, if you're eggs in one basket, Eva, you need to prioritize diversification now as your strategy for 2023.
Yeah. So this is your 3-step money making plan. 1, we want you to prioritize your top 20% of your products that you sell. 2, prioritize your existing customers. It's easier to get your current customers to buy again. And 3, prioritize that diversification now. Let's stop kicking the can down the road and let's do it. And then same thing as we spoke on the last one was set your goal. We want you to set your goal and work backwards. What do you want to do? Do you want to add an additional $2,000 in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Or do you want to 2x to 4x your revenue? Now, again, our students have shown proof and time again that they've been able to use exactly what we teach inside of our multi-stream machine program. And they've been able to 2x their revenue, 4x their revenue, and be profitable. But the same thing for you, my friend, eggs in one basket, Eva, is you're struggling in the same way that all the hats Amy does too, where you're making things, you're selling things, but there's also intangible goals you might have. So what are those as well? And how do we start to set yourself up? And this is that prioritization. This is that spending time on the things that works versus trying to do all the things and be in all the places and doing stuff that's kind of just keeping you busy, but it's not having a return on your investment of time. All right. So I hope that this was helpful. And if you didn't, you might say like across the board, I feel like I'm eggs in one basket, Eva, and all the hats, Amy. That's fine. You might have different strategies. But if you want help continuing down this path, just know that we're here for you inside of Multi-Stream Machine. If this is the program for you that you think is going to be the thing that helps move you forward, because that is what we've seen help so many of our students time and time again.
Yes. And we want you in there so you can go from feeling, like we said, what you might be feeling now to where you could be like our students. And we're excited to, be a part of your business journey. So we will see you inside Multi-Stream Machine.
Thanks, friends. Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.